Why are digital products aging faster than real ones? You update an app on Monday, and by Friday it feels like it belongs in a museum. That's not magic, and it's probably not an accident. Somewhere between design systems and quarterly roadmaps, we stopped just improving products and started quietly expiring them. Welcome to Design Unhinged. I'm Pat, a senior UX designer with a decade of experience watching perfectly functional features get aged out, redesigned, or quietly retired in the name of progress. Before I got into UX, I worked in industrial design, where planned obsolescence is a literal design strategy. You engineer components to withstand only specific levels of use. You design a life cycle with an intentional endpoint. So when I say I'm starting to see the same mindset creep into digital products, let's say I know what engineered expiration looks like. Digital products aren't supposed to age, but they do, and not because code rusts. They expire because teams make decisions that slowly erode the usefulness of what already works. Here's what digital expiration actually looks like. Redesigns that make the familiar path feel outdated overnight. Features adjusted or removed to push users towards paid subscriptions. UI updates that break muscle memory for the sake of freshness. Patterns swapped out yearly because the trend cycle demands it, not because users struggled. Designers feel it too. The sinking moment when a perfectly functional flow gets flagged as not on brand anymore. You're not solving a problem, you're refreshing an asset. While from inside the team it might sound like, we need to modernize the experience. This doesn't look like premium enough anymore. Let's make the upgrade path more visible. The user's response is, why did they break the thing that worked? In industrial design, planned obsolescence is physical. Components degrade, parts fail, materials wear down. You can point to what broke. Digital obsolescence is subtle. The experience weakens while the product technically still works. It shows up through familiar paths being rerouted or made slower, once clear flows becoming fragmented, tasks requiring more steps unless you upgrade, or visual resets that look modern but reduce clarity. In industrial design, breakdown happens in your hands. In digital design, friction happens in your workflow. A feature wasn't broken, it was made to feel outdated. So the new version or the new tier feels like the real solution. Here's a few examples of this decay in the experience. An endless cycle of light mode, dark mode, light mode, pendulum masquerading as progress. Free features sliding behind a subscription gate. Simplified flows replaced with funnels that prioritize business metrics. Quotation mark clean redesigns that remove labels and hierarchy, assuming users will just relearn everything. That's not evolution, that's churn dressed as innovation. Here's the part no one likes to talk about. Designers are the ones implementing this, but not the ones asking for it. It happens by you getting a brief that says, increase conversions on the upgrade funnel. Make the free plan feel more limited so Pro looks more attractive. Refresh the UI to feel more current and premium. And suddenly you're not just designing for the users, you're designing around them. You remove the obvious path to the free option and tuck it under a small link. You add friction to exporting data unless they upgrade it first. You redesign layouts so the old mental model feels clumsy by comparison. None of this is villain monologue, it's just how incentives quietly bend design. The danger is when we stop noticing. When encouraging upgrades becomes indistinguishable from making the current experience worse on purpose. Planned obsolescence used to be about things wearing out. Now it's about experiences expiring. And designers are stuck in the tension between two truths. It's a fact that products should evolve, but users should not be the ones to pay the price of that evolution with constant relearning and degraded experiences. So how do you tell the difference between healthy evolution and quiet sabotage? Ask yourself, does this remove pain or add inconvenience? If your upgrade makes core tasks harder for the non-paying users, that's not evolution, that's pressure. Is the old pattern truly broken or just off-brand now? It feels old is an aesthetic opinion, not a usability argument. Would we still ship this change if there was no tiered pricing models? If the answer is no, you're not improving UX, you're optimizing revenue through friction. Industrial design builds products that fail over time. Digital design sometimes builds products that fail users over time. That's the line we have to see and decide which side we're on. Are there ways to push back? You're not going to stop planned obsolescence on your own, but you can design with your eyes open and make the trade-offs visible. Here's a few ways to do that. 1. Name the harm clearly. When a change makes something worse for a subset of users, say it out loud. This will add 2 extra steps for free users. This will break muscle memory for existing users. Putting discomfort into words makes it harder to ignore. 2. Ask the real goal, not just the request. Instead of make the free tier feel more limited, reframe it. Are we trying to increase upgrades, or reduce support load, or highlight specific features? Once you know the real goal, you can propose solutions that don't just rely on breaking what already works. 3. Offer ethical alternatives. Don't just say no, offer options. Highlight value instead of hiding functionality. Use progressive enhancement instead of degradation. Give users a clear, honest comparison instead of a confusing experience. 4. Track user impact, not just business metrics. If churn, complaints, or support tickets spike after a modernization, point to it. Data gives you leverage to argue that not all progress is actually progress. 5. Protect some stability on purpose. Pick core flows you refuse to destabilize every quarter. Consistency is a feature, especially for long-term high-friction tasks. So if your app suddenly feels old, it's not you, and it's not the users. Most of the time, it's the business model. Planned obsolescence used to be about hardware failing, and now it's about habits being broken just enough to push people somewhere new. As designers, the job is not to fight every upgrade. It's understanding why it happens and making sure users don't pay the full cost of someone else's growth targets. Digital obsolescence, or what I call experience expiration, isn't about broken hardware. It's about breaking habits. And if we're the ones designing the breaks, we should at least be honest about who they're for. If this hit a nerve, maybe because you're redesigning something that isn't actually broken, subscribe and drop a comment about the worst upgrade you've ever had to ship. Because here on Design Unhinged, we don't just ship change, we question who it really serves.